Good morning, everybody. TGIF. Wait, Ron, are you talking? Oh, you sound like way far away. Barely. No, it's like you're still in bed underneath a pillow or something.
How about now? Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, that sounds better.
Okay, then I'll say it again. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I sound better than yesterday? Okay, how did I sound yesterday?
Yeah, I was waiting to hear that too. How'd you sound? You sounded normal to me. Maybe just your frustration came through or something.
Oh, well, sorry, I guess I'm human. I'm entitled, I guess.
I don't know. I didn't notice particularly, but there we go. I agree with Vegas.
Well, Joey, we'll see. Once I get in my first live trade, I'll let you know how things go.
I just love seeing these names pop up and being able to put faces with it, knowing who's on the other end of that computer. Things so dozy. I think that pretty much faded away with Craig. Listen, Craig. I miss him every single day. Yes, as you are.
Okay, Lori, today I'm going to see if I can try to get RTY screen up and recorded today. So it's up now, so.
Lots of little nuggets, but none of them were RTY.
Oh, should I switch to YM?
No, RTY is normally the better one. So I mean, we didn't have anything that was decent all week because I just was not focused enough. I think that was part of the problem. And so hopefully maybe RTY will get back to normal. Didn't have all my brain cells working, and I need everyone. Finally, I think they're all working today and yesterday. Oh my gosh, Lino, don't even say that yet. Yeah, the prep that goes into those live events is unbelievable. Well, if I'm teaching anything anyway.
I gotta say, Lori, you sound like 1,000% better.
Oh, I actually had a solid night's sleep for the first time in a long time, and I'm feeling much better.
Yeah, I actually had a solid night too. I think I fell asleep at around 2:30 and woke up at 5, so that's perfect.
I couldn't hardly stay awake past 9, and I could not get up when the dogs were saying, "It's time to get up. It's time to get up." I was like, "No, let me sleep." I was good sleep. We're done with Dark Zone. Okay, what do we got? No news today? We actually have a no news day? Wow.
Oh no, the news came and went. It was at 8:30 and the market dropped 300 points when that happened.
I'm kind of not worried about what happens while I'm still sleeping.
Wasn't there a movie like that while you were sleeping?
Uh, Bill Pullman or something like that is his name. One of the guys' names. Love that. Oh, Katie, what did you do to your computer? Sleep. Hey, what's YM looking like? If this would happen to go up, yep, okay, no, never mind. You can just stop, mister. Katie, now more than ever, you need Skype so that they can help you easier. Windows update in the night or something? Yeah, she doesn't have Skype yet, Vladimir, and if Greg doesn't know, yeah, she's kind of out of luck in there. Greg and Gabe are our top techies. Kind of ugly all over on these markets so far this morning. What? Hey, PM me your Skype, Katie. I'm gonna hook you up with Gabe. dash, if you click on the speaker icon on the bottom of your sys tray, open sound settings and see what it's set to, what your default is set to. Every time you plug in a new screen, it seems like they want to take over the sound. I had to disable all mine. Morning is definitely going to require patience. Remember yesterday how we didn't have much in the first hour or hour and a half, 2 hours, and then wham, tons. Be patient. Yeah, try that, Katie. Well, that's probably that big short. I mean, even though it was news, after a big move, it generally will chop around. So RTY has already recovered half from that move. I am, maybe. Oh, yeah, okay. Not quite didn't set up, and it went real fast. Great.
Nathan, if you got your net 3 and you're positive, shut her down. It's not that difficult. Especially if you don't tell yourself that it is. If you tell yourself it's difficult, then it's going to become difficult, but it's not that hard. Very well said, David. Very well said. YM might be setting up long here.
Great. I was muted and talking about YM, and then you came on, and I was like, wait a minute, did I just say that?
You did. I'm just relaying what you said.
And YM or RTY is setting up too, so.
Correct.
Yeah, I like it when they both set up, so we might actually have something here. Nope. YM went away, or RTY went away.
I think YM's going to go away too.
Fan of this. Not setting up yet, but. If YM and RTY are setting up at the same time, Vladimir, then I don't much care too much what it's doing. I'll take it. If they're both setting up Lorexes, not just any old thing, of course. Well, M32 is pretty sick, isn't it? And I don't mean sick in a good way. RTY is trying to set up short. I don't see a lot of confirmations. It's got everything in it except for confirmations. Of course, it doesn't. An animal made a noise like Michael Jackson? Okay, I have no idea what you heard. Glad this RTY is not setting up. It's not going to be pretty. Noises are just to keep you guys awake, I think. Totally tune them out, don't you? Now, RTY is borderline. Borderline intrabar scalp, but I'm trying to get it. We're working on creating one. IM is kind of looking good. Wow. I didn't get that trailer off. Wow.
Hey, Lori, did you get that YM on 10:07:02?
Say that again.
A YM on 100702.
1032.
100702.
And 1032. 100702. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have touched that one. And it was a really good one, but...
Yeah, I thought that was my one and done. I'm done. That's the trade I took, and I'm done for today.
Nice. Well, I took the 1032, but it wasn't a one and done. It was a double scalper.
Yeah, I actually got 50 ticks on the trailer on that one, so I'm done.
I think I missed it. I don't know if I even saw it set up, but didn't have any confirms, and the cluster was not in the right place, so I'm not sure I would have taken it anyway.
Well, it had a mini magnet on a 30 TX. The cluster was there, not in the position that you like it, Lori, and it had an absorption X. So it had the components I'm looking for, and that's why I took it.
Vladimir, don't focus on the 3-0. You don't know what they took. It might not be good and valid ones. Don't even give it a thought when someone says 3-0. I mean, yay for them, but don't get caught up in that, feeling like you missed something. Just let it go and focus on what you see. They obviously aren't looking for the same stuff you're looking for, which, is whatever it is. It is what it is. Vlad, you need to be posting charts, I think, more. Post your charts either in the mentor group in here or directly to me. I don't care. And you learn what you're looking at, what you missed, what you did right. It's important to post all of them, the good and the bad, because you don't want your good to be just luck of the draw, and you don't want to repeat the bad. So post them all. We are setting up for an RTY, although it's pretty sharp uptrend, and it's reversing. And there are absolutely zero confirmations, so I'm not loving it myself. Work, but without me, and I'm okay with that. want the best. Thing that's really easy to do is get caught up in the, oh, I got 3. Oh, I got 3. And you're sitting there wondering, well, why the heck don't I have 3? Well, because you're not doing the exact same trade, and don't worry about it. Just doesn't matter. The RTY won, so yay for it. It was valid if you took it, but if you didn't, that's okay. Why was the RTY? Because it wasn't just a TX, it was a Lorex. That's why. If it's just a what's it called? The TX that's just a filtered FTX. Then you have to have DR. But if it's a Lorex, DR does not matter. Well, Vladimir, if you're in lane 3 or 4, you're way highly likely to get more winners than losers. Especially if you're looking to be confirmed in lane 4. Yeah, your second trade should have been a winner. I have your chart pulled up, but I have not haven't looked at them all. Yeah, that's a big thing you have to overcome. If you're going to take the trade and put the risk out there, you've got to let the trade go. You'll never succeed if you cut the winners out early.
Same thing goes that if you got into a trade and it just lost, then the next bar or two immediately shows another trade, you take it if it's your setup. Vladimir, if the risk is too high, then switch to micros. Well, like Lori said, Vladimir, the way that the system works is when you take the best of the best trades, you've got a higher probability of win, and those will outweigh the losses. And just like the trade that you closed out early because you were afraid of it, that means you don't believe in the system 100% yet. That's just my opinion. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know.
No, I've actually read that if you close early, you don't. I mean, I don't remember where I read it years ago, but.
Basically, once you get into a trade, you should have already accepted the risk no matter what happens. And two things are going to happen. It's either going to win or it's going to lose, but you don't touch it.
Yeah, I can't offer a whole lot of insight to help you on ES as much as the other two. That where I read that, trading in the zone. Probably. When I trade ES, I get the same results. That's why I don't trade ES. I don't like it.
Hey Vladimir, are you trading evals or are you trading your own money, your own account? And how are you managing those? Are you managing those exactly the same? That's not what I meant. The risk in your live account, unless they're the same size, should not have the percentage-wise of risk in an eval account.
You know what Katie is saying about ES? Every market has their quirks. It's important to know their quirks. That's why I don't trade ES. I don't know its quirks. That's why Katie does so well with ES, because she does know it inside and out. You have to know your market a little bit.
So, Vladimir, going back to, so if you have a 50K account, evaluation account, then one contract is perfect for that. If you have anything less than, I would say, $75 to $10,000 in an account, then one contract is the most you should trade. If it's anything less, especially 5,000 or less, then you should be trading micros. Yeah, but you can't look at it that way. Okay, so if you're trading a system that's got 75 to 85% probability of a win rate, you'll never even close to having to hit the trailing drawdown trading one account. And I'm speaking from experience because I've done it and I've actually shown it in here trading a 25K account in micros where the drawdown is only 1,500. So
David, she just got on Skype. She's not in a mentor group yet. Katie, do you want me to put you in a mentor group?
don't you have to be in Skype for like 6 months before you can get into a mentor group? I'm joking.
Yeah, she would be really good to be mentoring ES and
Here's an idea, Lori. Once you open up a new group for ES, put the ES traders in there and have Katie run it. Not run it, but, you know, kind of mentor in it.
Nathan, if you're doing your own trades on our charts, that is not going to qualify you to help people because you're not trading, you don't know our system as well. Learn the setups and then help people. I mean, if you know the quirks about ES, you can help with those, but yeah, we definitely don't want you to get distracted from your own trading. Know when you're ready. Sniper boot camp, there is a link called What's Next, and there's a form to fill out to be put into a mentor group. Well, I get that, Nathan, but you got to learn the setups before you can help others. That's what I'm saying. Diminishing your knowledge. I'm not trying to diminish your knowledge. I'm just saying if you're not real familiar with our system, then you need to learn it first. Yeah, the one thing, Katie, that might help is when we're in this, when we're in the ER in the morning, then this is where you be. You don't switch back and forth between the mentor groups. Just ignore the mentor groups. They're for after hours, posting charts, stuff like that. You don't need to be worried about the mentor groups when you're trading in the morning and helping out in here. That's just for when it's slow, when it's after hours, when you have time, whatever.
Rufus, you got to send Lori a Skype requesting it.
Have to go to the boot camp page for Sniper, and there is a link that says What's Next. Click on that, and it'll give you the information to join a mentor group. Yeah, Katie, you don't even look at the mentor groups in the morning when you're trading because they should be in here all in one place where it's easier to help people. And always, always, always focus on your own training first. It's kind of like being in an airplane. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first. Yep. You have to take care of yourself on your charts first. Really, really easy to get pulled away and not take care of yourself.
So that's what I've been doing wrong all this time. I haven't been putting on my oxygen mask. Man.
Should the stop loss on RTY be below? This is why I would not take one in RTY right now off all these mini magnets, because yes, it would need to be down below it, but they're too spread out. Those mini magnets on RTY are not a stack; they're spread out. They're ugly, and the risk. I mean, that's incredible having to put it underneath there. That's a lot of risk. And yeah, I wouldn't touch that one because of that. It's not worth it to me. Out of one, if you're willing to take that. But yeah, the stop would have to be below all those mini magnets. And for me, they're too spread out. They don't show power. They show indecision, and spread out is chalk. So yeah, it worked, but the next time it probably won't. So like that particular setup there. And I would not touch it. I know these setups work, but man, behind all those mini magnets, that risk is incredibly high.
Yeah, you're like doubling your risk on that one. Literally, I think you just added 10 ticks of risk.
At least, yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. Thank you. That's one I'm not willing to take the risk. If you're willing to take the risk, let the trade cook. If you're not willing to take the risk, don't take the trade. And that was me in that case. I'm not willing to take that big of a stop. Even though they work a lot, but no. Yeah, R2Y never set up completely, and it just zipped right down, didn't it? Kind of watching that as well. Um, the setups aren't 50-50. If you're looking at lane 4, each trade is 50-50. Yes, as you're taking a trade, every trade in the market could go either way. But overall, it's not 50-50. Trading ES, it doesn't seem like you know the quirks in ES real well. It's harder to trade, I think. But if you know it, yeah, you don't want luck with trading. You definitely want a little bit of market reading skill.
Hey, Lewis, you actually, if I can comment, if you don't mind, you actually need both. You need to have the discipline to be patient. So you actually need both.
Okay, so you're saying 7 of 7. Do you mean 7 winners and 7 losers, or 7 out of 7 winners? I mean 7 winners out of 7 trades. The way you're posting is we usually do, that'd be 7 winners and 7 losers. Or what you're meaning there.
I think he's probably meaning he had 7 out of 7 winners.
I think so too, but
Yeah, see, all winners. Yeah.
okay. Yay, good for you.
So the only thing I can comment on that is if you got to 7 and the first 3 were winners, you should have quit.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with Greg. If you're seeing a 50% on Sniper, then you're doing something wrong. So you need to definitely post every chart every time. And you might post your charts. Oh, I don't know if Katie, did you comment on Vlad's chart? Yeah, RTY is, well, not setting up yet though, is it? Sorry. Trying to get out every time I cough now. It's coughing, surprise. The others afternoons, I would say. Vegas, you can still learn a lot by posting charts because when I personally mark up charts, I try to add things that I see. I try to point out things on the chart that I see that maybe you didn't or maybe you did. I don't know. But I try to point out more things and teach you with each and every chart. Some of them don't have anything to point out, so then it's just like, yeah, this was, good, bad, or otherwise. But yeah, what Jeff said, nothing's always. I agree with that. Okay, YM is trying to set up. Not yet. Doesn't have a TX on the 30. Doesn't have a mini magnet. Doesn't have a. It's got a. X. And shop in the last pullback wasn't that great. Now we're getting more of a setup in YM. We got trapped. We got a paw. We got TX on the 30. Closes down with everything. It looks pretty good. So there we go. It's losing everything. Doesn't matter. It does not have the setup anymore. So if you had an order in, take it out. I know YM and RTY's quirks better. That's why I like. I would suggest really trying to see it through Katie's eyes and learn, if you're going to keep trading ES, learn what she sees. What you see isn't working, then try really hard to see it through new eyes. Sometimes it helps if you say what you see, because then, I mean, you see something that totally, that happens to me when someone says, well, it had this and this and this, and I'm like, well, okay, here's why that didn't matter, or it, I didn't see it or whatever. So it sometimes can help if you express what you're seeing also. Can help her basically turn what you're seeing around. But yeah, it's not easy. YM is trying to. Like a,
Another thing too is, if I can kind of comment on that for 1 second. As far as Katie, what she sees and so forth, she's proven not only to herself but to pretty much everybody in here that she's gotten ES to work pretty down. I would say she's got it down cold. So if I was going to follow anything, I would ask to see what she's seeing, learn from that, regardless of what I see, because obviously what I'm doing is not working. So I'm not seeing something correctly. So her guidance would kind of shift my focus, and I'm not going to be in the position where I feel like I'm trying to put a square peg in a round hole, because it's just not going to work. So for me to try to convince Katie of my views, especially when they're not working, is, to me, I don't think is a beneficial approach. Katie, I'm not trying to single you out. I'm just using this as an example, because if I was to trade ES, you would be the first person that I would go to and say, what am I looking for with regards to the market ebb and flow, and what are some of the quirks or things like that. Because if I go to Lori, she's going to say it just doesn't work for me and I can't see it. So, and Lori knows this thing. I mean, she knows the system down cold. But the thing about it is you also have to understand how the market breathes, and if you don't, then you can't adjust for that, and that's going to be a problem.
Having said that, I don't think he's trying to convince her. He was just stating what he saw. But yeah, it's really important to kind of let go of that and focus on what she sees. Yeah, no, that's what I just said. You're good, Vladimir. We weren't suggesting you were arguing. We're just trying to help you change your point of view a little bit, how you see it. It's all trying to just make you a better trader, help you get to where you want to be. So, it's all good. Not trying to single you out, but I would be willing to bet that a whole bunch of people are saying, wow, I'm glad this conversation is happening because I find myself in this situation. I mean, so yeah, thanks for putting yourself out there.
No, absolutely, Vlad. It's, again, this is not, you brought up a topic which, again, opened up a great conversation that a lot of points can be derived from, and everyone's going to be able to walk away with something. And I think at the end of the day, when you come in here, if your goal is to walk away with one aha or one point or one thing that you learn, and that's what you walk away with, then you succeeded your goal for the day. One of the things I was going to say before is it's not easy to walk into a situation and take everything that you know and dump it out the window and accept everything brand new into a new system. I was very fortunate. I was able to do that relatively quickly, which literally turned me around. So now that's not, again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, and I had a lot of help, and I actually went and seeked out the help, and Lori was there with a big giant bat and whacked me over the head a couple of times. But that's what I needed, and that's my personality, and that's what suited my personality. So everybody's different, right? So again, at the end of the day, if you can walk into this, take all your knowledge, pour it into a glass, and then dump it all out and start fresh to absorb everything, and that's when you start, that would be the ideal situation, but it's not reality because our psychology doesn't allow us to do that.
Yeah, for those asking, I did take that YM. I was going to call it, but I didn't like that. It didn't have a power mini magnet, but yeah.
Yeah, David, this is being recorded today, and let me double check and look. Yes, we're still recording, and the RTY chart is still up. So for those of you guys who've been watching the videos and following it, and you see the Apex logo, today you're going to see our RTY chart.
I like what Jeff says up there. He tried and tried with ES, and he just gave up on it. He made peace with the fact that it's not his market. Instead of getting the fear of missing out when when something good happened, and they were getting, for a while there, ES was getting a lot of good signals, and they were working well, and the other markets weren't getting so many, so people were switching over to ES, and I mean, the conditions always change, always. It's ever fluid. So, now you get pretty good setups with YM and RTY, and some with NQ. Kind of depends on the day, if it's moving faster or not, or if it's reasonable. You definitely have to accept the information and drop the fear of missing out. That's why I commented earlier a few times about if you see somebody saying, I got three, don't let that get to your head. I mean, congratulations on them, but it doesn't mean
Hey, Ben?
they're taking the same trades as you. It doesn't mean, and you're probably going to miss out on a lot of losses that they took that you didn't because they're trading something different. If you don't see that, if you didn't see the setup. So don't worry about it. Don't give it a thought. Focus on what you're doing. I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints I've seen people, they start to get the fear of missing out when they see, I got three, I got that, I got that, I got that. Well, it's a good thing to get these good things, but don't allow that to hurt your own mindset. Yeah, SPY options are a whole lot different than ES futures. If you're in a short trade and you miss the initial entry, sorry, is it okay to get in at a higher price if it moves up, or should you skip the trade? If it wiggles a little bit, sometimes it's okay to get in at the same entry price. If it goes up and you're trying to go short, you want to make sure it's going to come back down before you get in. So I would not get in at a higher price. I would wait till it comes back down.
Hey, Dash. If the trades were valid and they were strong confirmed trades, then luck had nothing to do with it. Luck from the market did, but other than that, you traded correctly. If you just threw a trade out there and they won, then like throwing darts at a board, that's luck.
Read what you're saying, Mark. The TX that you're requiring on the 30 to make a Lorex valid historically, most of the trades we've gotten do not have trapped orders on the 30. Is it just a 30-tick X box or 30-tick trapped orders? No, the 30-tick trapped orders. I think do you have a order print chart up for the 30-tick and just have one bar showing so you can see that 30-tick up close and personal? Because if you don't, you may not realize there is a trapped order when there is one. Sometimes it's just one cell that has a trapped order. But you might not realize, most of them I do require it, and they usually are there. But I have an order print chart up with just one bar on the 30-tick. I load one day, as I don't want it to hold me down. Yeah, simple OP on a 30-tick. I want to see exactly what's happening on that current bar. So yeah, that really helps me. A lot of times you can't see it. I can't see it. I have my 30-tick chart zoomed out so I can really see. That's a bigger picture, and I want to see a bigger picture. So I have it really zoomed out. I can see quite a bit on that thing. I mean, I can see the whole day so far, which isn't a big day, but yeah, I have from 8:30 on my 30 ticket right now, and that's actually kind of small. It seems like. Because ES is different. That's why ES is the lower diagnostic brick. It's 30 for other markets. It's 20 for ES because it moves different.
Hey, David, if you'd like, I can lend you some of mine.
Yeah, that's why, David, just putting one bar doesn't take up that much space. The directions to change the nickname are posted up there above. I have an OP chart set up for a 10 tick and a 30. I have one bar showing on each of those only. I load one day, I have one bar showing. I only care about that. I want to see if it's got the tracked orders. I want to see, I can see it better. It really works out well for me, but that's just me.
This is what my setup is per market. So every market, the charts look like that. And I think Lori's pretty much to being about the same, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the placement's not the same, but the idea is there. So each market has its own monitor, and it looks just like that. Pretty much see everything. Dozy, I tried to get into a CL trade today, but got skipped. What do you mean, no simplicity charts? Nikita, was that for me or for Lori? What do you mean, how do I use the OP chart? So basically, I look at the OP10, which is the center left, and that's pretty much what I follow when the set is coming up. I look at that, and that helps me decide whether I have all the components or not. And then I glance over to the 30 to see where the TX is, and also kind of how it's building and where I am within that 30 bar.
We're not watching the order print chart constantly. It is when you see a setup building on the 10 tick, then you can watch your order print chart for, you can glance at it to see on the 30, does it have that TX? Does it look like it could have the TX? Is the mini magnet with big numbers or little numbers? You can see what's going on. You can verify all that stuff on your order print chart because sometimes you can't see them on the 10 tick. But he's got the 30 tick up. He can look left on the 30 tick and see what happened. And if he needs to, he can page back.
Yeah, George, I have both the 10 and the 30 OP. Who was it that asked me about the simplicity chart? I mean, this is what my simplicity chart looks like. And that is sitting right next to trying to capture a screen of my my NQ. So the simplicity chart is just to the right monitor of the NQ chart, which is this, the NQ10. Now I don't trade NQ10 right now, but I use it to kind of help me decide on where to get in on simplicity. It basically shows the last, just an OP bar. I mean, it's just the last, just like it does on the OP10, it just does it on a 30. Vladimir, I'm just kind of going back to what you said. What do you mean? How do I look left? If I want to see, well, first of all, I have an idea. If I'm going to trade the market, I know what's happening, so I know what happened before. But if I forget, I could just maximize the screen and then just bring it back to where it was before. Yeah, Joey, that's tick strike. The little blue, I mean the squares. Yeah, that's tick strike. Yeah, just like Vega said, Vladimir, I had the same thing. You just have to wake up one morning and just get that feeling in your gut deep down below. And this is something I learned from Daryl. To where you've had enough. Excuse me, you've had enough, and you're just kind of sick to your stomach about everything that you're doing, and commit yourself that you're going to do the right thing. And that's where it gets to that analogy where you take all of your knowledge, put it in a glass, dump it out, and start fresh to be able to receive all new information without having anything that's happened in the past influence, clutter, fog, change anything that you're about to see. All this stuff is extremely overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff here, and it works, and it's been proven to work, and there's plenty of people who have made this work. So it's not just, there's no question about it, right? So it's not easy. And if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it, and everybody would be a gajillionaire. That's why they say that trading is 95% psychology.
That's one thing that Daryl always told me when I first started was he enjoyed about teaching me because I came to Apex first. I didn't learn, I knew nothing. I mean nothing. And so he taught me everything. He didn't have to unteach me. I didn't have to unlearn what I already had learned that was not correct or not pertinent, maybe. Whatever. I'm not saying it was all what people learn is all wrong. I'm just saying for the way we trade, it may not be effective. But I didn't have to unlearn anything. So I was a blank slate. And that's really what you have to make yourself be, is just let all the information absorb.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, and that's true, Vladimir. I've only been at this for, well, it's going to be a year in January. Can you believe that, Lori?
I can't believe it's a year already. I really can't. I would you asked me how long you've been here off the top of my head, I'd say, oh, probably 6 months.
Yeah, well, I've been on mic since August, middle of August. And
no way.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I'm going to remember that day like for the rest of my life. So no, that's a very good thing. So what I'm trying to say, Vladimir, is I'm just like you guys. And believe me, I got my teeth kicked in, and I've had a couple of pretty major catastrophic failures. Fortunately for me, I have had the psychological mindset to be able to bounce back, and all I'm trying to do is just share that with you guys and kind of walk you through the process and say that at the end of the day, if I can do this, anybody can do this, because I'm literally like living proof that you can wake up one morning, make a change, and just make it happen. And see, and when I hear all these comments from you guys that I've actually talked to personally and have kind of shared some of my experiences and insights and so forth, and it's actually made a change. I mean, if you have any idea how great that makes me feel, and I tell Lori, literally every time I talk to Lori, how grateful I am to be in this situation and to be able to just, do this with you guys. I'm literally at a loss for words, and I will thank each and every one of you, and even Lori again. Thank you for everything. I know I don't say this enough, and I'll say this in front of everybody. There's no shame. I mean, I'm deeply humbled, and thank you again.
You're very welcome on my part. The other thing that I don't know for sure. I can't say that Ron has improved since he's been on mic. I don't know, because you were doing really well before that. You just decided you were going to be disciplined, and you just disciplined yourself. It's like, wow. But being accountable to someone really makes a difference. If you're just on your own and you make a mistake and oh, well, I took a stupid trade I shouldn't have taken. Nobody will know. Well, okay, that kind of mindset, yeah, that's not going to get you. It's not going to help you be a better trader. If you post all of your charts, for example, that's going to help you be a better trader. Not only are you learning from each chart when someone comments on them, but also you tend to take less stupid trades if you know you have to post every chart and you actually do it, because nobody wants to look like an idiot. Although you have to be willing to put yourself out there and do whatever it takes if you want to improve. So Vegas, it's just, I'll say I learned how to push the buttons to even do the mechanical trading on camera. You want to talk about looking like a complete idiot. I didn't care. I needed to learn everything as fast as I could. My job was going to be ending, and so I needed to be on the fast track. So how do I do this? Well, I'm putting myself out there. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I didn't care how stupid I looked. And I'm told I don't look real stupid anymore, usually, most of the time. Sometimes, probably. That'll never go away. But, yeah, I don't care what I look like. It's how I trade and how quickly I improve. That's what matters. So, yeah, what do you want to do? Do you want to trade well or look good? Because in the beginning, they both cannot happen. Usually. So you just have to decide which it is. Which do you want more? You want to look good? Well, yep, good luck with that. You're going to need it.
Yeah, so to answer your question, have I improved? Yeah, absolutely. I learn stuff literally like every single day. And Laura, you know that when we've talked, I say, oh, I had no idea, fill in the blank. So that's a learning moment. And for me, I always try to walk away with one thing that I can learn. and at the same time solidify and strengthen my foundation, because the stronger that is, the more confident I become. And it's really amazing what it does to you when you take a loss, because it happens. And if somebody tells you that they're winning 100% of the time, it's little garbage. I mean, that's just not realistic. And it's all about how do we deal with, the losses that we take, as well as how do we deal with the winners. So that's why I always say, I don't get overly excited when things win, and I don't get overly depressed when things go, sideways. And I've had plenty of reasons to literally go completely suicidal with some of the stuff that's happened, but
Yes, you have.
I've always managed a way to just kind of, pull through, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm just trying to share that with you guys to stop doing the things that you shouldn't be doing. I guess is the only way to say it, and it's almost kind of sounds too easy, or easier said than done, but it's definitely doable.
Trade in the mentor groups. If you post your trades in the mentor groups every day, you're holding yourself accountable. If you don't hold yourself accountable to someone, have a trading partner, post your charts to the mentor group, to me, to whatever. Have someone to run. Have someone who's going over, but every single trade, not just the good ones, not just the bad ones. You learn from both, because your good trade may have been pure luck that you never should have taken. I mean, a lot of times you'll hear me say, "Yep, I'm not getting into that one," and it won, and it's like, "Yep, it won without me," and that's okay, because I only want the best. I want the sharpest edge I can get, and a dull edge will sometimes win, but it's not consistent. You need the consistent process. Definitely a journey. That's the great thing about Skype, JJ. You can Skype whenever, and we answer when it's convenient for us. Sometimes that's in the middle of the night for me, because I'll wake up and just be wide awake, and it's like, well, let's see if anybody has posted anything. Yeah, it's crazy. All hours. Exactly what Greg just said. You got to do what works for you and stick to it. Don't chase new stuff all over the place, but refine what you're doing. He's exactly right. I had to take the best of the best because my internet was horrible. I mean, it would kick out all the time. Last night I was listening to it. Um, you've lost connection like 3 or 4 times. I was like, man, I don't even know if I can trade tomorrow listening to that. And so I had to take the best of the best, because if my internet was going to kick out on me in the middle of a live trade, well, I wanted the odds to be in my favor. It was going to go with me and not against me. So that was what got me, that's what motivated me to do what I do. And it works for me, so I haven't changed, even though my internet's a little better most of the time.
Edward, if you go into the boot camp and go into what's next, it'll give you instructions on what to do to get into a mentor group.
At the number in that group, I got to get it cleaned out, but I was going to do that over Thanksgiving, and then I just managed to get sick, so active people in there. RTY 11/12/29. Let's see. Oh, 39. That wasn't a trade. Was not a trade at all. That wasn't a setup.
Yeah, that was in the middle of an up run, actually.
Joey kind of likes Thrive, don't you? I'm not sure you completed the process signing up for a room on the trial, because I don't have a Skype from you. I'm caught up, by the way. I'm caught up on putting people in the room. So if you have requested a Skype, if you filled out the information for a Skype group, mentor group, and you didn't Skype me, you didn't follow directions to the very end, yeah, you're not going to get in one. You're just going to sit there. So you have to Skype me at the end of the 10:29:44 RTY. Wait a minute. N29:44. That's a ways back. $29.44. That was valid. And we talked about that a little bit when it was happening, because you would have had to have your stop below all those mini magnets, and it would have won. But that's a huge risk for the reward. I would not have taken it myself.
So if somebody wants to mark down an hour and 49 minutes into the recording, that's where that question came up on RTY and was being discussed. The RTY chart was up, and I scrolled back to that time.
I haven't been in as many trades called this morning, and I missed one because Ron was in the middle of a really good monologue there.
Sorry, I need to learn to hit the mute button.
It's good. I mean, if it wasn't the best of the best setup, so I was like, yeah, I tried to get in and on that one that I was about to call, but no big deal. Not been a lot of good ones that I've seen worthy of taking. Yeah, if you're 0 and 0, then you have traded well today, because there's not been a lot of good stuff out there. Don't feel like you're missing out if you didn't get in a lot. I mean, there was a couple, but if you happen to miss them, well, being 0 and 0 is not a big bad deal.
Lori, what about the YM at 10:48:03?
What was the time again? I'm sorry.
10:48:03. I actually have that chart up on the screen right now, and I'm doing it bar by bar at the setup bar. So.
What market?
YM.
No wonder I don't see it. Okay, so 10:48. Oh, okay, I see it. Okay, it did not have. It was nothing special. It had no real confirms. It didn't have a. I think that was one I kind of talked about, that it was okay. It was not a bad setup, but it wasn't an ultra confirmed setup. It had a star 6, which is half of an SLZ for a confirm. So the star 6 helped a little. Did not have a mini magnet or a paw, which I'm not loving, but it was okay. It had the cluster on the Xbox, which I like. So there were some good and some bads on that one. It didn't have OPR or absorption X.
No, it did have OPR.
Not on mine. It didn't.
It had OPR, it had a TX on the 30.
Oh, okay. I see it behind the TX line. Okay, I do see the OPR.
Bouncing off 2 eye blocks.
One of those that was pretty good. It wasn't the best, but it was takeable, probably.
Anyway, so that was being shown as we were talking about it. Just if anybody's trading ECL, it's potentially setting up for a long. I'm not trading it because I'm done, but just calling it. And it's gone, it all went away.
RX on NQ? I don't see it. What am I missing? What time? Oh, never mind. Okay, so it went away. Okay, I was like, wow. Both are trying to set up YM and RTY. They aren't. Don't have the TX on the 30 yet on either one. way. Okay. So RTY is close to settlement. Ugh. I don't see a signal for ES long either, really. Quiet in here. Nothing's going on. That YM was really bouncing off that stack. It was a ZOI to mini magnet. Stuff, but it never set up. Vladimir, are you paying attention to what KD's typing in there about what it usually does right in here? Yeah, looks like you are. You know what looked good about that one? The Corey NQ 112934 was the cluster was smack dead center in the middle of a ZOI and on the Xbox, both. So yes, it had everything except a mini magnet or a paw, but it did have the deviation. It should have the clusters right in the middle of the ZOI, and we found that to be very, very powerful, and it had everything else. So, yep, that was a really good one. Good catch. But it's going slow enough to get in. Great. Well, I didn't see it at the time. Love it when they are just right in the middle of the ZOI. It's not iffy. It's not, well, it's close. Yeah, no, that was beautiful. That's what that was.
It's kind of funny to say that.
What?
Where it's had enough time to get in. That bar was like 4 or 5 seconds. It's like an eternity in NQ10, right?
No kidding. I'll watch it right now because I can't keep up with it. IM is, I don't like where the cluster is. It's trying to put in a crash. Got a gap in there, but two ZOIs at the same level, different colors. And it has everything that it needs on this TX, except it's got wicks everywhere on this 4X. I mean, on YM. It's got wicks everywhere. Almost every bar's a wick. I don't like those. Not have to. Did you update your toolkit lately? Shark fins. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Shark fins. All those wicks.
We want to talk about something interesting, Lori. So, YM right now is sitting at the price that it is exactly the same place that YM setup happened that you weren't crazy about, that we talked about. And I just happened to glance on it because that OP bar is what stayed on the chart for me because we were talking about it. And I'm looking at the live 10 tick, and I'm watching the price bar, and I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. It's like literally right at it right now where the Xbox was. It's just a little bit above it now. It's just so funny.
I mean, I've seen that happen so many times. That's why I put little lines on my chart sometimes, just temporary little. I put them a certain color, so and I make them dotted so I know that it's just today. It's just pay attention to this because it's probably going to be drawn back here when it gets here.
And that was like
I do that
45
a
minutes
lot.
ago.
I didn't done that, but
Yeah, it's just funny.
yeah, that is definitely. And that is a mess. Um, so that would have been a good one if every bar wasn't a wick. It's in a really awful area. So the setup actually isn't bad, but if you look what's around it, you're in a swamp. And I mean it's awful. And I see so many wicks and one bar up, one bar down, one bar up, two bars. I don't like that at all, and I'm not going to trade in there. And that just comes with experience knowing my market. So the setup itself was not a bad one. But it's chopping, one bar up or one bar down, two bars up, one bar down, two or three bars up. And if you think about it, why would it stop just to give you a profit? It's just not anything that's going to go either direction give a decent profit. It's just nasty. RTY looks like it's setting up right now. It's also got if you look on the 30 tick on RTY, it's also got a ZOI crash at the top of the 30 tick bar is in the middle of, which can really be choppy and iffy. But you do have two mini magnets above where you're at right now. That would, I guess, give you time to profit. I'm not a fan of this setup. Just talking about what I'm seeing. It's got a lot of iffiness around it. Now it's almost cleared those that ZOI crash on the 30 tick. Well, it just tried to go long. I mean, it set up pretty much a Lorax going long. And yeah, now it's trying to set up short. It's an area, generally when you're coming onto a crash, it's an area of indecision.
Yeah, plus we're in a pretty strong simplicity long, so that usually kind of pulls RTY with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now we've cleared that crash. It could be
drawn up to that stack of mini magnets right below the dev.
Yeah, there's a mini magnet right on the top of it that it just pushed through. Vladimir, she marks any TBS that she sees. Yeah. And then it comes back and makes a big, and it affects it.
See you, David. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, question for you. What got you into that trade, and why did you stay in it so long? And even though it's in sim, you should be trading sim the exact same way you're trading live. Because the fact that you said you wish you would have taken it is not a really good thing, because if you would have taken it live and it would have lost, then you would have said, I wish I hadn't taken it. So, something to think about. Yeah, see, that's the problem trading sim, is that you get laxed with the things that you do. If you were trading that thing live and you would have gotten a phone call, what would you have done? Not putting you on the spot, Nathan. I'm just having a conversation. That's why I always try to say it's like, treat your sim account, unless you're testing stuff, and if you're going to trade sim after you're trading live and your system is working for you, you treat your sim account as if it was live money, same way. Because if you start making slack changes and lackadaisical trades and things like that, it's going to spill on over to your live account, guaranteed.
AJ, I cannot see your screenshot. It says page not found.
I'm just making suggestions, Nathan. It's kind of like, again, let's go back to the beginning. So treat trading as though it's a business. So if this is just a hobby for you, then okay, whatever happens, happens. But if you want it to be a business, would you do that running your company? Would you take a lackadaisical decision? No. So same kind of a thing. Not talking about learning. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, so if this is going to be your thing and this is something you're going to make a living at, then you treat your sim account just like you would if it was live money. I guarantee you, Lori would not take any different trade when she goes to sim and she calls it out. It's no different than if it was live. The only reason she's in sim is because she met her profit for the day, and even though, let's say she's in 5 minutes into the room and she's done for the day because she got her one and done, she could technically basically pack it up and go. If she wasn't in the ER, she'd be gone. She'd go do something else for the day. But since we're here, so she's trading sim and she's calling the trades, but it wouldn't be any different if that was she's trading live. And Lori, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're exactly right.
I'm no master, Nathan. I'm just like you, man. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective to just try to see it a different way. That's going to help you be successful because that's what works. See you, Corey. Have a nice weekend. Oh, so you're saying you didn't like me before? Okay, that's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. That'd be like same thing. Me going up to my wife and say, "Honey, you look really good today," and her response is, "Wait, you mean to tell me I don't look good every day?" Nathan, I'm just messing with you. It's okay. My skin's not that thin. I can take it. It's all right.
And I just want to say to those of you who have put yourself out there and helped create some of these learning moments today, thank you. And we're not trying to pick on you specifically or, um, put you in a corner, back you into a corner, or anything like that. So thanks for not getting defensive and taking the learning moment for what it was. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I say the same, and I'm learning from you guys every single day. And by the way, before I forget, Joey, the screenshot you posted, that's the mini magnet being copied off the 30 tick. I'm assuming that that's your 10 tick chart. I can't see the entire thing but usually that's what that means. It's the mini magnet being copied off the 30.
Yep, it is. It's a mini magnet on the 10 and 30 because if it's got the white behind it with the black dots, that's why we created them the way we did, so you can see that, yep, it's a mini magnet on the 10 and 30. those setups today, but lots of learning moments, so that's good too.
Well, Laura, you said you wanted me to talk more, so there you go.
You did great.
Which, by the way, is not easy for me. Okay, I just want to put that out there just so everybody understands.
Yeah, he's really going out of his comfort zone to be here, and yeah, thank you for that.
Well, you know what comes next to that response, right? It's like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. So. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, it is not easy to be up here and basically just put yourself out there with every word you say. I mean, you see that I come off looking like a dork a lot of the times because I misspeak and whatever, but it is what it is. You get what you get. Now, RTY trying to set up off this, ooh, pretty stack. This is looking really nice. It does not have a TX on the 30 yet.
Yeah, as soon as that cluster popped up, I was like, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, that may.
Never mind.
I don't like the way the cluster moved, but it's off a really big level.
Yeah, it's got that stack again.
Got an OPR, got a mini magnet.
Actually, sorry about the again. We haven't been here before, so I apologize. Wrong market.
I don't like that it doesn't have much trend to it. I mean, it's just kind of slow, and I've got my order at 18. Well, now I can't see what it was at. Just entered it.
Well, the good thing for you, Lori, is that NQ is pulling short, so that might help you.
Yay!
Told you.
About that pot, what is it, 1885? What is it, like about 2? That's my target.
Joey, when you're saying, is this a normal chart? What do you mean? With the OP bars that you have, the OP10? If you want to see that many bars on the OP10, that's fine. I don't know if you need it, unless you're looking for something specific. You just basically just need one, unless you're looking for something different. I mean, if it works for you, then just leave it. That's the only thing I see that's different.
Right. JJ, take your cursor, put it on the bottom, the time, and then drag it left a little bit so you only have one bar. That's just too much. And you may not realize. or you can also squish your chart a little bit, pull that left side in, so you're only seeing one. And then if you pull that side in a little bit, you can then make your 10 tick a little bit bigger.
Yeah, if you want, there's a couple ways to do that, right? So one way is to actually, if you want to space the bars out, drag the time and drag it left so that the bars are more spaced out, and then close the window, shrink the window size down. And then you can widen your 10 tick sniper chart.
I am almost to my target, and I'm going to protect kind of tight in here because I'm not going to have it flip around on me. I'm finally a good one and done, and I'm losing patience. So, okay, I'm out. I was protecting that close. How do I decide to trail or snipe? It depends on what the market's doing, how good the setup is. I trailed that one because we had that stack that it bounced off from. If it's just kind of wishy-washy and kind of going sideways, I will generally take double scalp instead of leaving one to trail. Or I protect right at the scalp, and so it doesn't hardly ever trail then. It depends on how the setup is.
So Brian, not to point you out, but since you basically posted that out there, and I'm really glad that you're 3-0 today, and it's a positive improvement from what it looks like in the past. The question is, how your trades, are they valid setups? In other words, are they the same setups that you've been taking all along, or did you make a trade? Did you make some kind of a change?
You watch Thrive, so maybe applying some of that.
Maybe.
So, yay. How do you take one to trail? I have two contracts with different take profits and different stops, so there's two separate contracts. And one's a scalp, and then the other one I have like a 30 tick take profit, and then I move it to where I think it's gonna go. $11.58. Is that the one we just took that I called? Okay. I don't show a TX on there on the 30 tick either. The reason that I called it and I liked it was because it was bouncing off a stack. The stack made up in this case for lack of TX. Sometimes you can trade a little bit, and normally you don't want to. I mean, normally you want it all. But we're kind of due for a good trade setup to come in. It's been like all morning, and there's not been much of anything. So literally knowing my market, I know we're due for something to come in, and I'm taking that because I really, really like it. Good job, Brian. And that's it is confusing. I'll be the first one to admit that. That's why I try to explain what I see, and I don't recommend. I mean, it's advanced. I don't recommend doing stuff like that. If it doesn't fit your rules, if it doesn't fit the rules, don't take it. But when I'm calling it, it's because I see something else, and I did take that live. That was my third of three. And but if I and then if I don't just automatically say what I see, go ahead and ask. I didn't even notice ODD on it. No, to be honest, I didn't even notice it. It's funny, Brian. But yeah, it's sometimes I see something in the bigger picture and I'll call it because of that. And never hesitate to call me out on it and ask, hey, this didn't meet the rules. What the heck? What are you seeing? What'd you do? Why'd you call it? Sometimes it's a mistake on my part. I'll be the first one to admit I'm human. I make mistakes. Sometimes it's because I see the bigger picture and I see something that's just like, yeah, I like this. I don't even care if it doesn't have all the parts, because there's something about it that really is very strong that I'm looking at. And I don't recommend doing that until you have a consistent, until you're consistently trading well, following exact rules. Because when I call something, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to get it right. And especially if it doesn't meet the rules exactly, if I'm going to call something and I'm not calling a mistake, which sometimes I do, but then I better have a darn good reason. And it's not just I think, it's something that I see on the chart. I did not like it when the cluster moved away from the Xbox. That did bother me. At the last minute it moved, and I'm like not loving that, but knowing RTY, I still like the trade. White hit my target, so I'm glad I started to trail really close there. It hit behind that cluster. No HD on ES. It went farther down. It was a lower low. You have to have a higher low for HD if it's going up. So no HD ES.
Yeah, George, that's good for any day, right? If you're taking like the best setups and you ended up 1-0 for the day, do that every single day of the week and then see where you are at the end of the week and just think, wow, I just took one trade a day, but it was the best setup and you're ultimately in the green. So it doesn't matter what day it is, right?
Right, Nikita, there's lower lows, so you can't have HD with lower lows if you're on an upward trend. Going up, HD has to be a higher low if the trend is long. You took that YM. I was looking at that YM. I liked that the cluster was right smack in the middle of the Xbox, and it had a mini magnet, but I just wasn't quite a fan of that. YM 120832. That's the one we're just talking about. Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. It looks good. Yeah, I believe it had everything. Mini magnet. Let me look back and see what the mini magnet. Mini magnet was a little high for me, but. 120832. Now you're talking YM, right? Because you were looking at ES 1208. It did have a TX.
Yeah, on the 1204 bar.
It was on the 1204 bar. So if you had one, this is why I do this. If you have one order print bar pulled up from a 30 tick, you can see, even though it's chopped around on the 10 and changed bars, it was still on that bar and had a 30 tick TX, but it showed up on the 10 tick at the 120406 bar. So if you were watching that OP bar, you could see it did have it. Even though it didn't show up on the 10 tick chart on that bar, it was there. That kind of sounds confusing, but the YM did have the TX on the 30 tick.
So
and yes, it didn't chop. That's why I didn't call it.
Here's something.
Actually, it worked out. It was valid, but.
So here's a little trick for you guys to kind of look at it. Speaking about that bar. So if you look at the prior bar and you see how it's got the TX on it and you're not sure, count 6 up bars, ignoring all the chop and all the noise in between, as long as it doesn't go below the low of that bar. And once you get those 6 bars, see where you are in price-wise. So if you count it, that Lorex was actually before the 6 bars, so the TX is still valid. That's how you know it would still count as that bar. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, though.
So starting at 1204.08 or 06, you count 6 up bars. Ignoring, again, those down bars don't count because they didn't drop below, so that 30 is still live and valid. So I went through those 2 little tiny pullbacks, and then we got the setup. The setup came, 6 bars did not close up, so that 30 tick is still valid. Did you get that, David? I have 27-inch monitors.
But I'm not sure why you would have that message. You try to access it. Just go into the website Bootcamp. If you already have the product, you should. Yeah. Submit a help desk ticket, that might work. Lori, that was lane 2 YM. It was actually a Lorex, so it was a lane 3. It was actually a good Lorex. The thing that I didn't like about it was the bigger picture. It showed there was a lot of chop all around it, so I did not take it or call it. And the mini magnet was a little bit large, so I didn't touch it, but it was valid, and it was not a bad setup. It's just, for me, the bigger picture says no. It was just like the one before where you said, oh my gosh, there wasn't a TX on the 30 tick, but you took it anyway. I looked at the bigger picture, and I liked it. This, I looked at the bigger picture, and I didn't like it. It was a valid Lorex, though.
Michelle, you can learn about the Lorex in the Wealth Summit. If you buy the Wealth Summit recordings, it gives you all the training on the Lorex, and you actually get the detector as well.
Yeah, Joey, it does matter. You definitely want everything in your favor you can get in your favor.
David?
If you took it, that was a good setup. You were trading well. If you didn't take it, you were trading well. Either way, it was borderline. So.
David, if you want me to explain it again, I will. I just didn't want to step on Lori, so she was...
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's okay. I just remembered what he wanted, so I just want to make sure that... Because he said he got lost in the translation, and I thought I explained it, but if you want me to go over it again, I will. Okay.
The blocks we were talking about was 1208 on YM.
Yeah, it was 1208.32.
Talking about something else.
Yeah, David, it was 1208.32. And we're saying how it didn't have a TX on that bar that it picked up from the 30. But what we're saying is if you look left, basically 2 pullbacks before at the low at 1204.06, that bar had a TX on it. So that's our starting point, and then we count 6 up bars from there, ignoring all the chop that's happening. It needs to go 6 up bars to the long position for that 30 bar to close. So when we get to our entry at 1208.32, even though it doesn't show the TX at the bottom of that bar, it still will pick up the TX off of the 1204.06 because it's in the same 30 tick bar.
Right. It's if you pulled up an order print just one bar on the 30 tick, you would see at the top at the 1208 bar, you would see the TXs there. Even though it's chopped around enough to give you different bars on the 10 tick, it's still the same 30 tick as the 1202 bar. So that's why sometimes it doesn't look like you have a TX on the 30 tick, but you really did. It was just a couple bars over. It did print from the 30 tick. It just printed on the 1204 bar. And the 30 tick bar did not change. It's still the 30 tick bar. It's only going to print once. That's why having the 30 tick OP1 bar up with 30 tick OP is priceless to be able to catch those. Because I glanced up at the 30 tick to verify, do I have ATX or do I not? And I had one, so I was really torn between calling that one at 1208 because I think it was 1208, yeah. Because it looked really, really good. I just wasn't loving what was around it, so I didn't call it. But it did look really good. Right, it only prints it once. And I think I'm going to have to mute out of here. I'm starting to cough and get more yuck. So as I talk more.
Okay, I just posted a screenshot. So look at it and look at where the white crosshair is. Look at where my pointer is. I'm in the 30 OP bar. Oh, Jeff, did you do that also?
Apparently. Yeah, it's been funny.
Yeah, yours is prettier. Mine shows all the data, so you win. Anyway, so if you look at where the cursor is on the 30 tick OP, that's the bar in question. Now look at the 10 tick and look at where the white crosshair is. That's already beyond, okay, our entry of the 1208 Lorex setup. So it's still within that 30 bar.
Being 30 bar, just up and down, up and down. It's just moving enough to move the 10 ticks, but not the 30.
David, does that make sense now? Can you see it?
Yeah, if you put in an OP chart, just one bar is all you need. And if you get a Lorax glance at the top of that 30-tick chart, boom, you're done. Just sometimes it doesn't show up when it chops a lot like that. That's really tight chop. That doesn't happen a lot, but once in a while.
Yeah, that's why I said, so for an OP bar, for an OP 30 to close, you need to have 6 either up or down bars on the 10 tick.
I see what you're saying, Joey. I couldn't see what you're talking about. I was trying to figure that out. Now I see the DTX. Yeah, that was a nice setup. DTX with a Lorax. Almost an SLZ. It had a 6 and a ZOI on the bar before, but didn't have a star. So yeah, that was a nice one. That was a nice setup. Because you've got your auto typer on, and when you type MM, that's what it puts in. So.
The template is OP30. All.
Or something. Okay.
Not the ES one. Unless you're trading ES.
Yeah, if you have a one bar showing the order prints on the 30 tick, it's really easy to see what we're talking about. It's better, it's easier to see it real time than it is to look back at it. Much more difficult to look back.
Sorry, the template is called underscore OP simple all, but you select 30 tick brick size for the diagnostic bar when you set up the chart. So it's underscore OP simple all and then OP simple for the ES.
That was probably a 4. It was kind of in between. It wasn't quite a full. It didn't have the mini. It was missing the mini magnet, but it had a ZOI there, and the cluster was between the ZOI and it was on the Xbox, so that was really good. It was a DTX, which is huge, so that was probably a lane 4. But it was really close to the mini magnet, and it just had laid it on the DTX, so that was kind of cool. And it had OPR. Yep, you picked it. You found a good one. Your second OP chart should not take up very much room. Squish that sucker down to one bar. Stretch it tall, but squish it. It shouldn't take up much room. If you put it on the side of your monitor, you only need one bar showing, the current bar. You don't care about anything else. That's just to verify what you're seeing. Look at Ron's chart that he posted. He's got one bar showing on the 10 tick and one bar showing on the 30. You're not watching that chart for anything else other than to verify what you're seeing because you can see it close up that way. My coughing is getting worse. I'm gonna get off here. I can keep my voice quiet for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's almost 12:30.
Yeah.
And it's Friday, and I got a million things to do, and time flies when you're having fun. That's for sure. So That was good day today. I'll post the video as soon as I'm done here. I'll basically upload it for processing. So thanks, Lori. Glad to hear that you're feeling better. It was good. And everybody else, if you're still trading, am I trading? I'm breaking up.
No. The drainage in my throat is breaking up right now, so I'm having a little bit of issues. So I'm going to turn the mic off. Thanks, and have a good weekend.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see you guys. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you all on Monday. Take care, everyone.